She risked everything to protect her sister, and drew him irresistibly close. Sanctuary amidst chaos. The marketplace on Helios 7 erupted into chaos as plasma shots ricocheted off metal stalls. Zara Novak ducked behind an overturned cart, her heart pounding against her ribcage. Just another typical supply run turned disaster on this forsaken mining outpost. This wasn't in my research fellowship contract, she muttered, adjusting the medical kit slung over her shoulder. 6 months studying the effects of crystal dust on human physiology, and she'd experienced more violence than scientific breakthroughs. A small whimper caught her attention. Between stacked crates of synthetic fruit, a young girl with copper-colored hair trembled, arms wrapped tightly around her knees. Her wide eyes met Zara's, filled with unmistakable terror. "Hey," Zara whispered, carefully moving closer. "I'm not going to hurt you. Are you alone?" The girl shook her head frantically, pointing toward the center of the marketplace where the fighting was most intense. "Nera," she whispered. "My guardian." Another explosion rocked the marketplace. 3 armed raiders in Dominion uniforms stormed through, weapons trained on fleeing merchants. "She's here somewhere," one shouted. "The Lycani and the girl. Find them." Zara's breath caught. The Dominion rarely ventured this far into the outer systems unless something or someone extremely valuable was involved. "They're looking for you?" she asked the girl, a nod. "I'm Mina," the girl whispered. "Please help me. Nera will come, but they're everywhere." Before Zara could respond, a flash of movement caught her eye. A figure leapt from a nearby rooftop, landing with impossible grace between the raiders and their position. Tall and lithe, with skin the color of twilight dusk, a rich iridescent purple, the newcomer moved with deadly precision. Zara stared, mesmerized. The Lycani woman wore fitted combat gear that accentuated her athletic form, her movements fluid and purposeful as she engaged the first raider. Her long, silver-white hair was braided tightly against her scalp, emphasizing high cheekbones and luminous eyes that seemed to glow with inner light. "Nera!" Mina gasped with relief. The Lycani disarmed 2 raiders with a series of strikes too fast to follow, her expression fierce and focused. When the third attacker fired, she twisted impossibly, the shot missing her by centimeters. Something stirred in Zara's chest. Admiration, fascination, perhaps something more primal. The Lycani wasn't just fighting. She was protecting with a fervor that transcended mere duty. More Dominion forces appeared at the marketplace entrance. Despite her skill, Nera was outnumbered. "This way," Zara heard herself say to Mina. "My research lab has a security system. We can help your guardian." Mina hesitated. Nera said never trust outsiders. "Smart advice," Zara agreed, "but sometimes survival requires exceptions." She activated her comm unit. "Nera, northwest corner, follow the girl." The Lycani's gaze snapped toward them, surprise flickering across her features. With a decisive nod, she broke away from the fight, racing toward them with inhuman speed. "Lead," she commanded Zara, lifting Mina effortlessly. As plasma fire erupted behind them, Zara guided them through winding alleyways toward the research compound, acutely aware of the purple-skinned warrior following closely behind, a dangerous, beautiful mystery bringing chaos into her carefully ordered world. Our secrets under starlight. Zara's research lab was sparse but secure, nestled within a forgotten wing of the Helios 7 science compound. As the door sealed behind them with a reassuring hiss, Nera set Mina down and immediately surveyed the room, her luminous eyes scanning for potential threats. "We should be safe here," Zara said, activating the security protocols, the compound's shielding blocks biosignatures. "Unless someone saw us enter, they won't find you." Nera's posture remained tense, her purple skin catching the blue-tinted laboratory lights in a mesmerizing pattern of shadows. "Why help us? You risk much, human." Zara busied herself retrieving a medkit. "I'm a researcher, not a bystander. I don't ignore children in danger." She knelt beside Mina, gently examining a scrape on the girl's arm. "Besides, I've had enough of Dominion interference in my work." The Lycani warrior's expression softened marginally as she watched Zara tend to Mina. "Your name?" "Zara Novak. I study crystalline particulate effects on biological systems." She applied a healing gel to Mina's wound. "Which makes me curious about why Dominion forces are chasing a Lycani guardian and her human ward across the outer rim." Nera exchanged a glance with Mina, silent communication passing between them. You can trust her, Mina whispered. She feels safe. After a moment of consideration, Naira approached, her movements liquid grace. The Dominion hunts Mina for her ability. She can sense stellium crystals, the purest form, deep within planetary crusts. The kind that power their new warships. Zara's eyes widened. Stellium was the most valuable resource in the known systems, energy-dense and increasingly rare. She's a finder? The most sensitive they've discovered, Naira confirmed, her voice low. They would drain her mind until nothing remains but the ability to point to deposits. And you? Zara asked, unable to resist studying the warrior's striking features. Lycani rarely leave their homeworld, especially to protect humans. Your people maintain strict neutrality. A shadow crossed Naira's face. I was once royal guard to the Lycani sovereign. When Dominion researchers brought Mina to our world for testing, I witnessed her treatment. Her fingers curled into fists. I made a choice. Neutrality at the cost of innocence is no virtue. Later that night, after creating a sleeping space for Mina among research equipment, Zara found Naira by the small observation window, bathed in the glow of Helios 7's twin moons. You've abandoned everything to protect her, Zara said quietly, standing closer than necessary. And now endangered your life as well, Naira replied, turning to face her. The Dominion does not forgive interference. Their proximity sent an unexpected warmth through Zara's body. The Lycani stood nearly a head taller than her, regal even in fugitive's clothing. I've never fit well with authority, Zara admitted. My research keeps getting flagged for asking inconvenient questions. Naira's eyes studied her with surprising gentleness. You have a protector's heart and a scholar's body. And you have a scholar's wisdom in a warrior's form, Zara countered. Something unspoken passed between them in the moonlit laboratory. Recognition, perhaps of kindred spirits trapped in different worlds. Rest, Naira finally said, her voice softer than before. Tomorrow we must move. The Dominion will expand their search parameters. As Zara turned to go, she felt Naira's fingers brush her arm. Brief, electric, intentional. Thank you, Zara Novak, the warrior whispered. Your courage will not be forgotten. That night, Zara dreamed of purple skin against her own and woke with a racing heart, wondering when protection had begun to feel so much like desire. Desert's embrace. The crystalline desert of Helios 7 stretched before them like a sea of broken mirrors, each shard reflecting the harsh midday suns. Zara adjusted the environmental shield on her pack, grateful she'd insisted on bringing research equipment when they fled the compound at dawn. Dominion ships, Naira stated, pointing to dark specks circling the distant outpost they'd left behind. They've found your laboratory, Zara swallowed hard. 3 years of research data. 3 years of data against a lifetime for Mina, the Lycani reminded her, but with unexpected gentleness. The rebel outpost beyond the Scorch Plains will have equipment you can use. The rebels? Zara raised an eyebrow. From researcher to fugitive to rebel in one day. My parents would be horrified. Mina, walking between them, giggled despite their circumstances. Naira says plans are just wishes that haven't been broken yet. Your guardian is quite the philosopher, Zara remarked, meeting Naira's eyes with a smile that lingered longer than necessary. They navigated the treacherous terrain through the day, Naira leading with uncanny precision. The desert's crystal formations grew larger as they traveled, from shimmering sand to towering spires that refracted sunlight into prismatic patterns across the landscape. By nightfall, they reached a sheltered basin where massive crystal formations created a natural dome, protecting them from the biting winds that swept across the desert after dark. As Mina slept, wrapped in thermal blankets, Zara and Naira sat side by side, watching the crystal walls around them glow with bioluminescent algae that thrived in the desert's unique ecosystem. It's beautiful, Zara whispered, her scientific mind cataloging the phenomenon even as she marveled at it. I've never ventured this far into the crystalline zone. Beauty and danger often share the same space, Naira observed, her purple skin bathed in the soft blue glow of the crystals. Like you, venturing into exile for strangers, Zara turned to face the warrior. Not strangers anymore, I think. In the ethereal light, Naira seemed both more alien and more achingly present than ever. A strand of silver-white hair had escaped her tight braids, and without thinking, Zara reached to tuck it back, her fingers brushing against the warm purple skin of Naira's temple. The Lycani went still at her touch, eyes widening slightly. "I'm sorry," Zara began, starting to withdraw her hand. Nira caught her wrist, holding it in place. "Among my people," she said, her voice a low rumble that Zara felt more than heard. "Touching another's face is an intimate gesture, reserved for those who have seen into your spirit, and have I?" Zara asked, hardly daring to breathe, more clearly than most. Nira's thumb traced circles on Zara's pulse point. "You saw me as more than warrior, more than guardian, more than Lycani." The air between them seemed charged with possibility. Slowly, deliberately, Nira leaned forward until their foreheads touched. Another Lycani gesture. Zara realized one of profound connection. "In the Royal Guard, we are taught to stand apart," Nira whispered. "Duty above desire, protection above passion." Her fingers intertwined with Zara's. "I have never questioned this teaching until now." The kiss, when it came, was tentative at first, a gentle pressure of lips, the meeting of different worlds. Then Zara's hand found the nape of Nira's neck, pulling her closer, and hesitation dissolved into hunger. The warrior's mouth was surprisingly soft, tasting of the desert herbs they'd eaten earlier and something uniquely her own, something that made Zara's heart race and her thoughts scatter like stars. When they finally broke apart, breathless, the crystals around them seemed to pulse brighter, as though responding to the energy between them. "We should rest," Nira said, though she made no move to create distance between them. "The journey tomorrow crosses more exposed terrain." Zara nodded, but neither moved, their silhouettes merging into one against the glowing crystal walls, guardians of the sleeping child and of something fragile and new blooming between them in the heart of the unforgiving desert, trial by fire. The ancient ruins rose from the desert floor like the skeleton of some massive beast, crystalline formations growing through crumbling stone structures. Zara, Nira, and Mina huddled within its relative shelter as the atmospheric storm raged outside, hurling razor-sharp crystal shards through the air with deadly force. "The storm will provide cover from Dominion scanners," Nira observed, securing the perimeter of their temporary refuge. "But we cannot stay long. These ruins are known to salvagers and scouts." Zara nodded, helping Mina sort through their dwindling supplies. Since their night in the Crystal Basin 2 days ago, something had shifted between her and the Lycani warrior, a current of awareness that made even the briefest glance feel like a caress. "The mining facility at the edge of the scorched plains will have supplies," Zara said, consulting her portable data unit. "And transport we could appropriate." Nira's mouth quirked in a rare smile. "The scholar suggests theft? You continue to surprise me, Zara Novak." "Desperate times," Zara replied, returning the smile. "Besides, it's technically Dominion property, and they owe me for my research lab." A sudden crash from the ruin's eastern section cut their conversation short. Nira was on her feet instantly, weapon drawn. "Hide," she ordered, guiding Mina behind a fallen column. "Both of you." Before Zara could protest, Dominion hunters burst into the chamber, 4 heavily armed soldiers in environmental suits. How they had tracked them through the storm, Zara couldn't imagine. "The Lycani fugitive," one announced, weapon trained on Nira. "Where's the finder, girl?" "Our scanners detected 3 biosignatures." Nira stood tall, body positioned to shield the hiding spot. "Leave now and you might survive." The soldiers laughed, the sound distorted through their helmets. "Surrender the girl and the Sovereign might show mercy for your treason." "The Sovereign knows nothing of this hunt," Nira replied, her stance shifting subtly. "This is Dominion overreach not sanctioned by any treaty." The lead hunter fired without warning, a shot clearly meant to incapacitate, not kill. Nira dodged with preternatural speed, closing the distance between them before the other soldiers could react. What followed was a blur of motion as the Lycani warrior engaged all 4 attackers simultaneously. Despite her skill, the confined space worked against her. When 2 soldiers fired simultaneously from different angles, Nira couldn't evade both. A plasma bolt grazed her side, drawing a pained hiss from the warrior. Zara acted without thinking. Grabbing a crystalline shard from the floor, she launched herself at the nearest soldier, driving the makeshift weapon into a gap in his environmental suit. The distraction gave Nira the opening she needed to disarm another attacker, using his weapon against the remaining 2. In seconds, it was over. 4 Dominion hunters lay unconscious or groaning on the ruins floor. "You should have remained hidden," Nira admonished, though her eyes held something like admiration. "Apparently I'm developing bad habits," Zara replied, rushing to examine the warrior's wound. "Come on, let's get this treated before more arrive." In a small alcove deeper within the ruins, Zara carefully cut away the fabric around Neira's injury. The Lycani sat stoically as Zara cleaned the wound, applying healing compounds from her dwindling medical supplies. "Your hands are gentle for someone so fierce in battle," Neira observed, watching Zara work. "I've had practice patching myself up after lab accidents," Zara replied, trying to ignore how intimately close they were, how the purple skin beneath her fingers felt like warm silk, though plasma burns are a first. When their eyes met, the air between them thickened with unspoken desire. Neira's hand came up to cup Zara's face, thumb tracing her lower lip. "You risked your life," the warrior murmured. "No one has done that for me before. Perhaps no one valued you enough," Zara whispered back. Their kiss was different this time. Urgent, deep, born from the adrenaline of survival and the knowledge that each moment might be their last. Neira's strong arms pulled Zara against her, mindful of her injury but unwilling to maintain any distance between them. Zara's hands explored the warrior's shoulders, the elegant column of her neck, the silky texture of her silver-white hair. When Neira gasped against her mouth, Zara felt the sound resonate through her entire body. "We should check on Mina," Neira finally said, though she made no move to release Zara from her embrace. "She's asleep," Zara replied, having settled the exhausted child earlier. "We have time." In the heart of ancient ruins, surrounded by danger on all sides, they found sanctuary in each other's arms, a human researcher and a Lycani warrior, defying worlds and wisdom to write their own impossible story. Starbound Promise. The Dominion mining facility loomed against the red horizon of the scorched plains, a monstrous complex of processing towers and extraction drills. From their vantage point behind a ridge of crystalline formations, Zara studied the facility's layout through magnified lenses. 3 entry points, she reported, all heavily guarded. But their shift rotation creates a 4-minute window at the southern loading bay. Neira nodded, her expression grim. "We need only moments. The transport vessels are kept near the workers' quarters here." She pointed to a section of Zara's crude map. Between them, Mina sat quietly, her young face showing a maturity beyond her years. 5 days of desert travel had left them all exhausted, their supplies nearly depleted. "I can feel it," the girl said suddenly, eyes closed, deep beneath the facility. "The largest stellium deposit I've ever sensed. That's why they built here." Zara and Neira exchanged concerned glances. The Dominion's presence was no coincidence. They were following the same path Mina would naturally take, drawn to the crystals she sensed. "We stick to the plan," Neira decided. "In at shift change, secure transport out before they realize we've breached their perimeter." Zara hesitated, a calculation forming in her mind. "There's another option. I could enter openly. A researcher seeking shelter. Create a distraction from within." "Absolutely not." Neira's response was immediate, her hand finding Zara's with surprising gentleness. "I will not risk you." "It's not your decision to make," Zara countered, squeezing the warrior's hand. "My credentials haven't been flagged yet. They're looking for a Lycani and a child, not a human researcher." Their argument was interrupted by distant engine noise. A Dominion patrol skimmer approached their position, scanners sweeping the terrain. "No more time," Neira whispered. "We move now." Their infiltration began smoothly, too smoothly. Zara used her researcher credentials to gain entry, claiming she'd been separated from her expedition during the crystal storm. Neira and Mina slipped in through the loading bay during the shift change exactly as planned. They were halfway to the transport bay when alarms blared throughout the facility. "Unauthorized Lycani detected in Section 4. All personnel initiate lockdown procedures." In the confusion that followed, they became separated. Zara found herself alone in a research corridor, frantically trying to locate the others through the facility's internal communication system. When she finally hacked into the security feed, what she saw froze her blood. Mina had been captured. Dominion scientists had her strapped to a scanner in the main laboratory, already beginning tests on her finder abilities. Neira was fighting her way toward the lab, but security forces were closing in from all sides. Zara looked around the research corridor, her scientific mind racing. The lab she stood in contained experimental compounds for enhancing crystal conductivity, With the right modifications? When Nera reached the laboratory doors, she found them mysteriously unlocked. Inside, the Dominion scientists lay unconscious, and Zara was already freeing Mina from the restraints. "How?" Nera began. "I'm good at chemistry," Zara replied with a grim smile. "And ventilation systems." Their reunion was cut short as security forces surrounded the laboratory. Even with Nera's combat skills, they were hopelessly outnumbered. "There's something else," Zara said urgently, pressing a small injector into Nera's hand. "A compound I synthesized. It should temporarily enhance your natural Lycani abilities. The effect won't last long, but it could kill me," Nera finished, recognizing the risk. "It could save us," Zara corrected. Their eyes met in perfect understanding. Without hesitation, Nera used the injector. The effect was immediate and stunning. The warrior's purple skin seemed to shimmer with internal light, her movements becoming almost too fast to follow as she engaged the security forces. Where before she had been formidable, now she was unstoppable. A blur of precise strikes and impossible reflexes. They fought their way to the transport bay, Zara protecting Mina while Nera cleared their path. When they finally reached a scout vessel, Zara's scientific knowledge again proved invaluable, as she bypassed the security protocols and initiated launch sequence. As they broke atmosphere, leaving Helios 7 behind, Nera collapsed in the transport's small cabin, the enhancement compound taking its toll. Zara held her through the withdrawal, whispering reassurances and monitoring her vital signs with desperate attention. "I thought I'd lost you," Zara admitted when Nera finally regained consciousness hours later. The warrior's hand weakly found hers. "It seems the universe has other plans for us." 3 days later, they reached the rebel outpost hidden in an asteroid field beyond the scorched plains. As Mina was welcomed by other refugee children, Zara and Nera stood together on an observation deck watching the distant stars. "The rebels have offered me a position in their research division," Zara said, "working on countermeasures to Dominion technology." Nera nodded, her posture still carrying the regal bearing of her Royal Guard past. "They have asked me to train their fighters. The Lycani techniques I know could give them advantage." "So we both stay," Zara said, trying to keep her voice neutral. Nera turned to her, luminous eyes searching Zara's face. "I once believed duty and desire could not exist together. That to protect meant to stand apart." Her hand found Zara's, their fingers intertwining. "You have shown me otherwise." "Is that your warrior's way of saying you want me in your life?" Zara asked, a smile tugging at her lips. "It is my way of saying I love you," Nera replied simply, "across deserts and stars and whatever comes next." As their lips met, Mina's delighted laughter echoed from the nearby common area, a sound of pure joy that had seemed impossible days ago. Beyond the observation window, the endless expanse of space stretched before them. No longer a void to be feared, but a canvas of possibilities. "What happens now?" Zara whispered against Nera's lips. The warrior smiled, rare and radiant. "Now we write our own stars." In the heart of the rebel outpost, a human researcher and a Lycani warrior held each other close, their bond forged in protection, tempered by sacrifice and transformed by a love that defied the boundaries of worlds. With Mina safe and a new purpose before them, they faced the future together, their path illuminated by the stardust of their own making.